Leveling up in Elden Ring is crucial. Yeah, actually, leveling is useless, because even at level 1, you can make one-shot builds. However, in today's video, I will not be making a one-shot build because that's boring, but my build will definitely be way too good for level 1. But I can, and will be, one-shot by almost every single boss in this game. Now on to the final game in this challenge, Elden Ring. Like I said, this game is by far the easiest for stat distribution. Even though you start off at base 10 stats, you can get way too high for level 1 because of talismans, physiques, and many other items in this game. Anyway, I made my character, and his name is Squidward, if you couldn't tell. Anyway, time to kill Grafted Scion. Anyway, I died to Grafted Scion, said hi to Kale, and it's time to grab our horse and go on a crazy montage. No, different montage. Yes! I'm gonna hit you with my ball. And we did all of that before even beating the first main boss of the game, Maliketh. Maliketh is usually a pretty hard starting fight. Yes. Now that he's dead, let me explain some things. Even with one talisman slot, I could put Radahn Sword Seal in there, use my physic, and Crag Blade, making my damage way too high. I then went and grabbed the Axe Talisman and went to Cellular Crystal Tunnel to get some more upgrade materials, murdered a Falling Star Beast, which also gave me upgrade materials, and if you can't tell, I'm going to be using the Iron Balls / Starfist for the whole game. Boring. Time for Stormveil Castle, where we get this peasant to open this door for us, where I run by every single enemy, and we're not going to fight Godrick yet, because I gotta kill Neil. That's it, just Neil. Neil and his goon squad proceeded to kill me for 20 minutes straight because I suck at this game. Not because my build sucked, that's on me. But he did die eventually because the build is pretty good. And I killed him for his weapon that gives me a buff. Now, since I have all these buffs, Godrick is gonna be super easy. Alright, on the second time around, Godrick will be super easy. And he was. Don't think you got all these balls hitting your face? It is now time for me to kill my second demigod. And there's 3 different paths we could take. Rennala, Rykard, and Radahn. And I think I'm going to choose Radahn. Not only was Radahn the most accessible, he also has built-in game summons, which are meant to be summoned to make the fight more cinematic. Yeah, that was my plan, to make it cinematic. When you start this fight, you can run away, despawn Radahn, and that forces him to run to you instead of you run to him, which means I have time to buff before the fight starts and get my summons. That being said, my damage was already good enough to beat Radahn by myself, so after I dying a few times to skill issues, I absolutely murdered him with the crew. Yeah, sorry Radahn, I'd never give you a fair chance when I fight you, honestly. Yeah, that was all me. 90% of that damage was me. Those guys suck. Now that I beat Radahn, that's the end of early game, which I'm gonna give a 2. Because the guy that took me the longest to beat in this entire part was the guy in front of the crab shack. He took me 20 minutes, and that was the longest in this whole area. I then proceeded to murder Alexander. I didn't even use the jar shard, I just did it for fun. Anyway, since I killed Radahn, I could get my second talisman pouch from this old lady. So I went and killed Demi-Human Queen and got the Ritual Sword Talisman. I killed myself. But now it's on to DTS, who if I hit him 3 times with my big balls, he staggers. And it does quite a bit of damage. Yet again, I seem to be having a slight skill issue because I was doing, you gotta be kidding me, enough damage to 9-shot him, but I couldn't beat the boss. Luckily, skill issues are only temporary because I can respawn, and he can't, so I killed him. And I am now in the Royal Capital, where I grabbed the Starfists, which I'll be using for the rest of the game, and upgrade them as high as I could possibly get them right now. And now it's time for gold free. I'm sorry what's about to happen to you, dude. So yeah, that was a fluke. Piss free was pretty easy, and I beat him second try. And now I have a 4th talisman slot. But we don't care about the 4th talisman slot right now, because I'm about to destroy Morgott. That's why is his name changed? But before we do that, I murder a random NPC, and we see Patches, and I try to murder him, and I still murder him, so now we have Marcus Shackle. which obviously applies to Morgott, even though it's not Morgott Shackle. And right after that, I went to go grab the Blue Dancer Charm. We did need a 4th talisman slot after all, so now it's time to go fight Morgott, and man, this is bad for him. After hitting him a 3rd time, he staggers, allowing me to get a few more hits off and take the stagger, and get a few more hits off before he goes in the 2nd phase, which means he is basically dead before he even gets to attack. And it took me a few runs to perfect this, but actually I got to the point where he was 1 shot before going into the 2nd phase, so it was very easy, obviously. That was probably the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Now that I got the rolled, it's on to Mountaintop of the Giants, where I run by every single enemy. Are you serious? You just had to shoot me at the last second and get to where I need to be. But before we fight the first actual hard boss, that doesn't hit me through this, right? Of Elden Ring so far, I level up my Starfist to 21. And now it's time for Fire Giant. How are you annoying in every single thing I do? So for phase 1, Fire Giant only takes 3 hits to knock off his bracelet and 5 hits to stagger him because Cragblade plus Starfist is broken. So getting past phase 1 was not a big deal except for my occasional skill issues. It was phase 2 because my damage fell off a cliff for some reason when I went into that phase. And all Fire Giant does in phase 2 is roll away. That's his only move apparently, and I never can get close enough before he just does some fire attack or rolls away again. After tickling Fire Giant's phase 2, I finally didn't die to some BS and I murdered him. I should have become stronger. Now that Fire Giant is dead, that's the end of mid-game, which I'm gonna give a 4.5 because Fire Giant took me an hour to beat and DTS took me 35 minutes, which neither of them should have taken me that long at all, but it happens, I guess. Anyway, now that Fire Giant's dead, I linked the flame, she died, and we're in Farrum, Azula, which you can guess, we ran by every single enemy, and we're now at the most annoying boss in this entire run. So obviously, I went to grab some sleeping pot ingredients, although I did not have enough for a lot of sleeping pots. So after I used them all, the boss was just whooping me left and right. Get off for the day. I'm gonna come back, I'll fight them later. That's the worst boss ever created. Since I didn't want to fight Godskin Duo normally, I was gonna do some crazy acts like tree skip, fight Nile, just to get a farm, to do it for multiple hours to get a good amount of sleeping pots, or get Mimic Tier leveled all the way up, take an hour to do that, just for Mimic Tier to absolutely suck in the fight. Yes, I did both of those and neither of them worked. 1 more hour later and ya boy has gotten all the sleep pots and all that John. Totally no cheat engine or anything. No, I would never. Since I now have my totally legit sleeping pots, the boss was pretty easy. Every time one of them woke up, I just threw another sleeping pot at them and called it a day. Because my damage was actually good, I just was never able to hit them because they're both on top of each other. So, as you know, sleeping equals fun. GG! Now that I have these new smithing stones, I got my weapon to plus 24. Now it's time for a boss I despise. No, not you, DTS2. Beast Clergyman. No, not Maliketh. Beast Clergyman. Because every move he does one-shots me, and he has some really fast attacks, and I suck at him for some reason. Specifically, Beast Clergyman. Maliketh, I'm fine with that boss, but I specifically suck at Beast Clergyman, and I don't know why. On the very bright side, I could kill Beast Clergyman in literally 3 attacks because it stuns him, and then I could just kill him. Even though that sounds easy, I still, for some reason, couldn't beat this boss 1 out of 5 times. So I started summoning my boy Dean. If you don't know who Dean is, he's Dean. And I'm about to punch a hole in my wall.
We do not care.
Dean's sole purpose in life is to distract the boss. No damage needed. I just need him not to hit me. Good thing is though, it is very easy to beat Beast Clergyman with a good run. And when I get to Maliketh, sometimes I just die.
What?
That's okay, because I just need him to do 1 attack, I parry, he staggers, and the fight's over. I don't want to talk about it. I beat him, but I don't want to talk about it. That's it. I can parry the boss a singular time. Realistically, that was the biggest skill issue ever. Back at Lindell. Why does it look so different nowadays? Anyway, time for Gideon, who is super easy because I just summoned Dean, who flies around him, drawing aggro. I backstab him, and he dies. And I'm going to retire Dean off of that. And now it's time for Godfrey, the real one. And I honestly say, this is my best boss in the entire game. But that doesn't stop me from still sucking for an hour straight. Because Godfrey takes so long to walk over, I have time to buff, and my damage is very good. Hello? You forget I was here? What? How did I break his AI? And honestly, usually in this fight, you get 2-shot anyways, so it's not that different. So the fight is just me getting better. That's it. Hoaraloo, I can actually stagger him pretty easily, and my damage is ridiculous in that phase. The amount of times I got Hoaraloo to below 10th HP in this boss fight is honestly ridiculous. I don't know how my clutch factor is that low because I sold so many times, but it happens, I guess. Honestly, I just fought this boss for quite a while, learning it, getting better, and I just beat him. Nothing crazy to say. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And you know what that means. It's time for Radahn, which is not a problem at all. Because of my Cragblade Starfist, I can just murder Radahn before he gets to attack me more than 5 times, instantly putting him into his very last attack, where I can just kill him before he gets the final hit off. And now Elden Beast, and with the combination of Starfist and Cragblade, after 6 hits, Elden Beast staggers. And if you don't know something about Elden Beast, his stagger window is very long, so you can get multiple hits off, take the stagger, get a couple more hits off, and you also can now have your horse, and I haven't fought Elden Beast with my horse yet, and it's very easy, even though I died a few times. So I get him 2-shot, and he crucifixes me! I literally got a cycle of Elden Beast where he didn't run away. I've never seen that happen, ever. I guess I got lucky, and Starfist is OP, so we beat Elden Beast. Elden Beast, no runaway cycle! And now that Elden Beast is dead, that's the end of Endgame, Elden Ring, and the entire series. And I'm gonna give Elden Ring Endgame a 7 because Maliketh took me an hour and a half, Godfrey took me an hour, and Godskin Duo, I low-key cheated in some sleeping pots because I'm not grinding for 4 hours to get some sleeping pots. And the rest of the bosses were very easy. This puts Elden Ring's total at a 4.5, meaning from easiest to hardest, it goes Dark Souls 1, Elden Ring, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and Sekiro, which I actually had a feeling it was going to be that. Thank you for watching to the end, especially if you watched the entire series. I really appreciate it. I would also appreciate if you interact with this video somehow. It really means a lot. But I'm thinking about streaming Crimson Desert because that game looks very good. And I'm also probably going to make God of War no hit and Jedi Survivor no hit, just depending on what I do next. I don't really know. I have to figure it out. But watch this video. YouTube recommends it, and I do too. Also, thank you.